nearly stationary storm. Yet last update from them, they were saying the need for the flash flood warning because the storm is barely moving. No further updates as far as reports of a tornado there. An interesting note here, we've got a little outflow boundary, almost like a little sea breeze that's been pushed out from these storms. And today, just to be honest with you, not a classic environment that leaps off the page and says, hey, this is going to be a big tornado day. When you've got little boundaries like that, though, sometimes you can briefly at least, get the little enhanced area of rotation. It looks like that's what we're dealing with here. And it still is relatively broad as we look at the velocity mode of our radar, but right around the Eau Quinn area, continue your tornado precautions. We are saying the same community over and over again because, again, this is a nearly stationary storm which is producing torrential rain and also has some broad rotation in it, just to kind of circle the broad area where the greatest tornado threat is right now. Again, it's right along FM 609 near the Eau Quinn area. Houston, you are also included in this warning. I do want you sheltered in the Houston area as well. Again, this is 609, which runs down to the community of Eau Quinn. This is where the broad rotation is located, and you have a tornado warning in effect for the next 20 minutes for this area. We do want to make sure that you are sheltered if you live in Eau Quinn. Not to lose sight of the main concern, which is the possible tornadic circulation, but this is a big hail-producing storm as well. The National Weather Service saying hail up to ping pong ball size is possible here. And the hail core is close to Houston right now. This is 77, which runs up to LaGrange. LaGrange, there could be some small hail. That would likely be under quarter size based on what I'm seeing right now. But then as you get quickly on the southwest side of town into Eau Quinn and into Houston, that is where the hail starts to ramp up a little bit. Could be as large as ping pong ball size. Maybe the intensity has come down slightly as far as the hail concern. This is the hail path over the past 2 hours. Let our system load in here. So these are the areas that over the past 2 hours have seen hail. I do want to punch up the local storm reports as well to see if any of those are coming in. The only one that I'm seeing is right in town in LaGrange, and I believe this was from earlier when the storm was closer to town. Nickel to quarter size hail, that was back about an hour ago with the storm earlier near LaGrange. So the hail concern as well, but the main issue right now is going to be the tornado warning, which is close to Houston and close to Eau Quinn. Those are the two communities right now where we want you taking this very seriously. We don't want anybody driving. I know it's a Monday afternoon. We're trying to get home from work, run errands, pick kids up from school, that type of thing. Just let the storm kind of rain itself out. It's nearly stationary, so that's why it's hard to give you an exact time when this thing's going to fizzle out, but hopefully the rotation part of it at least can fizzle out. There's a new scan. Let's jump back into our velocity mode. And the good news that I have here is the rotation remains broad. That is not to say that it can't tighten up and produce a tornado or that it hasn't already produced a tornado. This is the general area where we're watching it. Houston, southwest side of town, that's where we're getting into the broad rotation in this storm that could be producing a tornado. This is radar indicated as of the last report from the National Weather Service. It is not confirmed at the moment. But this is Eau Quinn. I'm just going to get zoomed in as close as we can. We'll go essentially street level with it. FM 609 is going to be the main corridor here where we want you to be sheltered. And there's a few other smaller roads here in the community of Eau Quinn. A heads up if you live around the Trinity Church. That's an area where we want you sheltered as well. This is Blackjack Road, which runs through the community there as well. Any of these roads, any of these neighborhoods, if this is ringing a bell for you, or if this is where you live, make sure you are indoors right now and you are sheltered. And if you know anybody that may be driving right now and you think they might not be aware of this storm, give them a call, give them a text, make sure they know they need to get off the roads and take this thing seriously. Nape Road, that's another area where we want you to be taking your tornado precautions. Let's just go kind of up the road, up 609 here, just to point out a few other communities. Eau Quinn Branch Road, again, any of these areas, this is where the broad rotation is located right now on this storm. Outside of that, this storm is producing a tremendous amount of rain, and because it's stationary, the rainfall totals are starting to add up here, where we've got 3 to 5 inches of rain that's already fallen. just on the west side of LaGrange, we've got radar estimates that are 5 to 6 inches of rain. So flooding concerns also ramping up with this very slow-moving storm, which right now is over Fayette County. A few areas that are not included in the severe risk, but you are seeing storms, and I just want to make sure you guys know what's going on. Muldoon, it is pouring rain right now. There's lightning. There could be some small hail. You are not under the threat from this tornado warning. Likewise, for LaGrange, it is pouring rain. You do have a flood threat in LaGrange, but you are not included in this tornado warning. It is, again, south and west of LaGrange where we are dealing with this. Lake Fayette also got pouring rain right now, but you are dealing just with the flood risk and not the tornado issues at the moment. I want to check back in with our hail core, and this is still a big hail-producing storm. Another reason why we want you inside tornado precautions, and it works out that will help you with the hail as well. Again, Houston, O'Quinn, FM 609. This is hail that I would say could be ping pong ball size. We've had a couple of big hail producing storms, some of them in this area over the past 2 to 3 weeks. So you guys know when you start going blue into that purple and then the lighter purple, that is some big time hail, not just the standard quarter size hail. This could be as large as ping pong ball size. Checking back in with the National Weather Service just to see if they have any additional updates on this storm. Latest update is a severe storm capable of producing a tornado. Again, capable but not confirmed. Latest location near Muldoon or 7 miles southwest of LaGrange. The storm is still nearly stationary, and this warning is going to go for another 10 to 15 minutes, where we have 3 threats with this storm: the hail, which we're looking at, the heavy rain, and then also the potential, which could lead to some flooding, and then also the potential for a tornado in this storm as there is some broad rotation. So looking at the latest numbers here, let me animate this. I'm not seeing, again, anything that is telling me imminently this earlier. So as we kind of roll back, you can see this was 440. This was the area, again, where that's starting to look like, hey, we need to issue a tornado warning. But then as you go fast forward another 10 minutes, it's still broad. And then you fast forward into now. Again, it's just not a signature that is saying confirmed tornado, absolutely, but it is something we need to watch. Now, another area is going to be this, which is south of Muldoon. Let's get back over to the reflectivity, the mode of the radar, and I'll tell you what, that is broad rotation, but that's another little hook that's trying to form. That one would be on the south side of Muldoon. Not tornado warned, but I'm just trying to give you the latest information as far as what could happen a little farther down the line. We don't like the look of that little hook. When you get a little hook that sneaks down from the storm like that, that's where we've got a little inflow coming in right here. The storm is rotating. It's broad rotation, likely higher up in the storm as of now, but just like we saw with the last one, if that gets a little bit more organized, it's possible they need to watch that one south of Muldoon as well. And you can kind of see the areas where there's some broad spin. Just to make this clear for you again, it's broad, but this is the area that was spinning that prompted the tornado warning. And then this is the new area where we also have some broad spin going on in the storm as well. So stay hunkered down for us. Continue your tornado precautions. I know it's not ideal on a Monday afternoon. I'm sure you guys have stuff to do. It's pouring rain right now, so it's not like you'd want to be outside anyways. Just make sure you are sheltered indoors. Again, our rule of thumb, put as many walls between the outside and yourself as possible. For most folks, that's going to be an interior closet, an interior bathroom, a place like that. And then the secondary rule we want you to follow: no one needs to be driving in this. We do have some minor flooding issues out here too, so that's not great to drive in, but especially with the tornado threat, we want everybody inside as this warning is going to continue again until 5:15. So give it another 10 to 15 minutes and we'll see if we have any more updates from the National Weather Service. And just what we were talking about, they're saying keeping an eye on the cell over Muldoon for a potential rotation. That's the storm that is west of the current warning. So right here is the original circulation that originally was spinning, prompted the warning. This, which is on the south side of Muldoon, is the new cell that they're keeping an eye on. That one may try and spin as well. We also have meteorologist Grace Thornton, who is in the Weather Center with us. Grace, I know you've been following along with this storm. What's the latest that you're seeing?
Yeah, so we don't have too many updates from the National Weather Service. They are continuing that tornado warning until 5:15 p.m. So that's what we're going to continue to track here. Hopefully I can pull up this. I believe you have it on Max 2 or Max 1 is still ongoing. So I'll just push over to this computer real quick. But yeah, we're going to continue this until 5:15 p.m. and we're continuing to kind of track that broad circulation there that you were talking about. Let's go to our near radar at the moment. And I can take over as well because we're on the same one. But we don't have too many updates from the National Weather Service. They're just going to continue this tornado warning for the rest of the time now. And we also got a few hail reports as well for that golf ball sized hail that you were talking about a little bit earlier. So that is also going to be a potential threat within these storms that are continuing to be pretty stationary, like Hunter was talking about. So hopefully I can get our radar pulled up right now. But it has continued not really to move anywhere in the past couple of minutes so far as we've been tracking it since about 4:45 is when that tornado warning was issued and continuing until 5:15 p.m. So we're going to continue to stay on air with you for the rest of the time here until it is, expired there. Hunter, you can take over.
Yeah, got some new info coming in from the National Weather Service. They're saying a new severe thunderstorm warning is going to come out that's going to include both of these storms. So the original storm, this one, which is still tornado warned, again around the Eau Quinn area, continue to stay sheltered. This originally was the storm that was trying to spin this. Here's our new warning, which just pops up. This one closer to Muldoon, that one is also trying to spin. So now what the National Weather Service is going to do, a broader warning, which encompasses the pretty much the entire storm. Let me give you the latest. I'm going to get in here and see what they're tracking as far as hail size, and this is likely going to be another severe thunderstorm warning tornado possible, as these storms are not producing confirmed tornadoes, but they do have some spin associated with them. Hazards here: ping pong ball size hail, still ping pong ball size, and 60-mile-per-hour winds. They say this severe thunderstorm was a line of storms located from near LaGrange up here, stretching back down towards Muldoon, moving north at only 5 miles per hour. So a little bit of a northern component of motion here, but for all practical purposes, these storms are stationary, which is why Eau Quinn has been the community where that rotation is right overhead and it hasn't really moved. We want you to continue to stay sheltered in those areas for sure. This new warning, by the way, is going to take us until 6 p.m. But the biggest concern right now is the tornado warning, which goes until 5:15. So let's get back in with our radar. Essentially two areas of spin now, but the one that has caused the tornado warning. And this continues to broaden out. So again, this is not leaping off the screen at me telling me confirmed tornado, but this area right here near Eau Quinn, I'll zoom in so all the towns pop up. This area has been broadly rotating. So Eau Quinn, I know it's been a while now. This is just not a situation where the storm is moving anywhere. So it's not one of those deals where, hey, Eau Quinn, shelter for 10 minutes, then we'll give you the all clear. Because the storm is not moving, it's the same areas where we need you to continue to take your tornado precautions. Hail potential continues here north of Eau Quinn up to the Hostin area. FM 609 is where the storm is centered right over right now. And then we have a new hail core which is developed near the Muldoon area. Just so that everybody is clear, I know we're into the 5 o'clock hour now, so typically we would be doing our normal newscast. If you're in Austin, there are no storms right now anywhere over Travis County. I can't rule out some scattered storms developing for the I-35 corridor and then especially across the hill country later this evening. But the concern for now is this storm, which is producing flooding issues for LaGrange and much of Fayette County, and also has some broad rotation, which is capable of a tornado. This has been coming on 20 to 30 minutes now. We have not had this confirmed by any spotters. And hopefully that means it's not down, but it's just not a situation where you want to take that chance. You want to continue to take this seriously, and then we'll also watch some of this activity into Bastrop, which is not severe right now, but that is also producing some slow-moving heavy rain, and depending on how that shakes out over the next couple of hours, we may get into some flooding issues there as well. So Muldoon, you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. There is some broad rotation, so let's just hunker down inside and make sure that doesn't try and drop a tornado. But as of now, that rotation remains broad enough that it does not need a tornado warning with it. This is the tornado warning that we are watching between Muldoon and LaGrange. The time has not been extended, so this is still going to go until 5:15, and O'Quinn is the community right along FM 609 where I see the strongest signs of rotation right now. It's broad. Again, I'm not here saying there's 100% a tornado down, but I am saying you want to be inside as this storm is basically stationary right over you. Interior room, bathroom, closet, put as many walls between the outside and yourself as possible. Again, LaGrange, you have a severe thunderstorm warning. You are not under the tornado threat at this time. Likewise, Muldoon, you do have hail, but you are not under the tornado threat right now. Okay, here's some information coming in. So the current warning is going to be allowed to expire. So this is going to drop off here momentarily, which means we can get back to our regular newscast. So folks in the back, you guys just let me know when you're ready to segue over to the normal programming. But this tornado warning for Fayette County, this is going to be allowed to expire. In fact, it's going to be canceled 5 minutes early. That does not mean that the storm is moving out. There's still plenty of heavy rain. There's also a flash flood warning here, but the tornado threat for now has ended. I'm going to toss things back over to Brian and Ashley. They'll have you updated on the news. We'll have a